The pregnant woman's eyes widened in fear as the German shepherd's barks rang out, sharp and relentless. She took a shaky step backward, one hand instinctively shielding her swollen belly. "Please, make him stop," she pleaded, her voice trembling as she looked around for help. But Rex didn't budge. His low growl vibrated through the air, muscles taut, gaze locked on her like she was a threat hiding in plain sight. Mark exchanged a look with the other security officers. This wasn't random. Rex was trained precise. He could sniff out bombs, drugs, danger. But this felt different. Was it possible she was smuggling something? Something dangerous? A tall officer with a stern face stepped forward. "Ma'am, we need to ask you a few questions," he said, his voice firm but controlled. The color drained from her face. "I don't understand," she stammered. "I haven't done anything wrong." Her voice wavered, panic creeping into every syllable. Passengers nearby whispered among themselves, their glances flicking between the nervous woman and the barking dog. Suspicion brewed. Concern spread. Mark hesitated. Was Rex overreacting? Or was he sensing something no one else could? He made the call. "We need to take her in for further screening." Two officers approached, their grip firm but gentle as they guided the woman toward a private screening room. Her breaths came fast and shallow. Her hands shook as she held onto her belly. "Please," she whispered, voice barely audible. "I don't know what's happening." Mark followed close behind, Rex still tense and growling, his eyes never leaving her. Mark had seen his partner detect danger in the past, but never this intensely. Inside the room, an officer began carefully inspecting her belongings. Another prepared the body scanner. "Do you have any medical conditions we should be aware of?" asked a female officer, her voice softer now. The woman shook her head quickly. "No. I mean, just that I'm 7 months pregnant, that's all." Her voice faltered like even she didn't believe it. Outside the room, Rex paced frantically, whining and clawing at the door. Mark's frown deepened. This wasn't routine. If she wasn't hiding something illegal, what was it? A tense silence filled the room. Then suddenly, the woman gasped, clutching her stomach, her face twisted in shock and pain. Everyone froze. "Something's wrong," she whispered, her voice shaking as sweat trickled down her forehead. Her breathing turned erratic, shallow. Mark snapped into action. "Get medical assistance, now." Her knees buckled. She collapsed into a chair, trembling, panic written all over her face. But there was something else in her eyes, too. Fear. Pure, paralyzing fear. Rex scratched harder at the door, whining louder, almost frantic now. It wasn't alertness anymore. It was worry. The officer searching her bag stepped back, visibly shaken. "Is she going into labor?" he asked, eyes wide. No, it's too early," she cried, wincing as another surge of pain hit her. Tears spilled from her eyes. "Please help me." Paramedics burst into the room moments later, pushing through the guards. One of them dropped to his knees beside her. "Ma'am, stay with me. We're getting you to a hospital right now." Mark's pulse thundered in his ears. This had gone beyond protocol. It wasn't about security anymore. It was about saving a life. Maybe two. As the medics worked swiftly, checking her vitals and prepping for transport, one of them murmured, "Her pulse is erratic. We need to move. Now." Just as the paramedics prepared to transport her, Rex suddenly surged forward, nostrils flaring as he sniffed the air with fierce intensity. His ears flattened. A low growl rumbled from deep in his chest. Mark's gut clenched. Something was still wrong. Then one of the medics paused, his brow furrowing. "Wait," he said, pressing a careful hand against the woman's abdomen. Seconds passed. Then he froze. This isn't just early labor. Something else is happening. The woman's breaths turned ragged, her skin ghostly pale as tears streaked down her cheeks. "I don't know what's wrong," she whispered, voice trembling. "Please just save my baby." Mark's fists clenched. Rex had known before any of them. But what had he sensed? The chilling answer came fast. "There's an internal rupture," the medic said, turning to Mark with a grim expression. "If we don't get her into surgery now, we'll lose them both." Mark felt the blood drain from his face. Rex hadn't just been alerting them. He had been trying to save their lives. The terminal erupted into motion. Paramedics shouted as they wheeled the woman through the crowd. Bystanders stood frozen, unsure whether to watch or pray. Mark and Rex ran alongside the gurney, weaving through the sea of stunned passengers. The woman's breaths came in shallow gasps, her eyes fluttering, fading fast. "Stay with us," one of the medics urged, clutching her hand. "We're almost there." Rex, usually calm, professional, whined beside her, his eyes locked onto her face. It was as if he knew how much was at stake. Mark swallowed the lump in his throat. Without Rex, they would have never known. Not in time. As the medics loaded her into the ambulance, the woman turned her head, barely able to speak. "Thank you," she whispered, her eyes landing on Rex. The dog let out a low, almost soothing whimper, his body still tense, his gaze never leaving her. Mark knelt beside his partner, giving him a firm pat. "You did good, buddy." The doors slammed shut. The sirens wailed to life. And then, she was gone. Mark stood in silence, the flashing red lights fading into the distance. But even as the chaos ebbed, one haunting question remained. Would she and her baby survive? Hours passed. Each one dragged slower than the last. Mark sat outside the hospital, Rex by his side. His fingers moved rhythmically through the dog's fur. Rex had finally calmed, though his ears still perked at every passing sound. They weren't just waiting. They were hoping. Then the hospital doors creaked open. A doctor walked toward them, face unreadable. Mark rose to his feet, bracing himself. But then a small, tired smile. "She made it," the doctor said. "Both mother and baby are stable." Mark let out a long breath he hadn't realized he'd been holding. Thank God. Beside him, Rex's tail gave a slow, gentle wag. The doctor shook his head in amazement. There was an internal rupture. We wouldn't have caught it in time if she hadn't gotten help exactly when she did. I don't know how your dog sensed it, but he saved her life. At that moment, a nurse stepped forward and handed Mark a folded note. It was from a mother. Only a few words were scrawled across the page, but they hit harder than anything else that day. "Tell the dog he's my angel." If this incredible true story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss another heart-stopping, heartwarming tale. We've got more unbelievable stories coming your way. Stay tuned.